You okay?
I think so. What was that?
Trap. Avery.
Me. You're the one.
Christ's sakes! Well, we're back on the trail.
Footprints go this way.
Be ready for a fight.
Oh, I always am.
Is that in reference to me?
No, would you calm down?
You calm down. Hey, guess these guys weren't paying attention. There's no sign of Sam.
We'll find them.
Elena, get down! You idiots trying to bring the whole place down! Elena, get behind something! Well, for once I appreciate Avery's exploding mummies.
The mouths that spoke ill of me.
Hate to see this guy's Christmas tree.
I don't think he must be on a different route than the others.
All right, let's see if we can catch up.
Hey. So I guess this loops around?
Guess so. Yeah, two's men versus Avery's. Jesus, this was one of Avery's guys.
Dead men tell no tales.
Excuse me. Hello.
some kind of key. What's that note?
Oh, right. It's from Tu to his men. We can use the key to get out of here.
That's good.
There's some symbols on the back.
Well, let's go find a keyhole.
Oh, boy. I'm okay! You gonna explode now? Huh? No? How about you?
This guy had some serious trust issues.
Oh god, oh god, oh god! You done?
Nice move.
Huh. Not quite as creepy as all the hanging bones.
Still, a little creepy.
Yeah, maybe 3 out of 10.
I'd say 4.
Really, 4?
Okay, it's another death trap.
Yeah, no footprints to guide us.
Didn't you say there were symbols on that letter?
That's right.
No! Didn't you say there were symbols on that letter? No!
Okay, we're off to a good start. Follow my lead, okay?
Just be careful,
I'm always careful.
says the guy who set off every mummy bomb in this place.
Well, no, not a lot of experience with the mummy bombs. Thank you.
No! So far, so good.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Better not. It might be rigged.
Yeah. There. Made it. In your face, Avery. That's our way out of here.
Oh, God, are those the rest of Chu's men?
Yeah, gotta be. You know Avery likes to make an example of his enemies.
Definitely likes making exploding mummies.
Yeah. Let's, tread carefully in here. Keyhole? Key.
Wait, it could be a trap.
Really don't have much of a choice. But I have a good feeling about this one. Huh?
Do it.
You see? Well, at least we didn't get blown to bits. Shit. You didn't bring a knife by any chance, did you?
No. Oh, but that guy's got a sword. Here, help me swing this thing. Come on. Shit. Nate, hurry.
It's just like old times, huh? Lena? Lena? Hey. Hey. Lena, come on. Lena.
My hero.
Oh, no, you didn't do that.
Oh, you have done much worse.
You gave me a goddamn heart attack.
Oh, let me listen. Sounds good to me.
You realize we're now even for everything I've ever pulled, right? Yeah, like ever.
No, not by a long shot. Gosh, you've got mud everywhere.
Anyone ever tell you have a funny idea of romantic?
Yeah, I may have heard that somewhere before.
Good talk.
Good talk.
That's gotta be Sam. Come on. At least the gunfire means he's still alive. For now.